Jeff Kennett, good morning.
Morning, Neil.
Sex and politics. Sexism and politics. You would agree that what Tony Abbott said the other day, saying that his candidate had sex appeal, was probably politically unwise?
Well, yes and no, but it just shows you how politically correct we've all become, how stupid we've all become. I think Jennifer Hawkins is a very healthy, sexy-looking lady. I hear a lot of women saying that Hugh Jackman is wonderfully sexy. I see nothing wrong with that at all. I just see it as a term of almost endearment, a reflection, but that the Labor Party in particular, and some of the media have tried to make it a big issue, it just shows you how minutiae is now the order of the day. And for Penny Wong, of all people, whom I respect for a whole range of different reasons, that she's out there trying to say, oh, this reinforces the images about Tony Abbott. What a load of rubbish.
Why do you say Penny Wong in particular?
Oh, well, because she's the one who's got all the... Yeah, and I think what she's doing and where she is wonderful. And we at Beyond Blue are trying to make the conditions, the way in which community relates to the GLBTI much more humane, to remove a lot of pressure, depression, etc., etc. So I'm a great supporter of Penny Wong. For her to come out and say, oh, the fact that Abbott used that word is an indication of the sort of man Abbott is and his relationships with women, I think is just about the pit of the pits.
But for a candidate,
yep.
and obviously a very capable woman, she's an MBA. And
yeah,
also,
bright lady.
But if she's got sex appeal, is not relevant, is it?
Well,
isn't it a little demeaning?
I don't think it's demeaning. I mean, why can't people be honest? You know, we get into trouble today because everyone's trying to say the right thing, the popular thing, the politically correct thing. Where's the sense of humour? Where's the Aussie sort of approach to life?
Sense of humour's fine if it's not at somebody else's expense.
I don't see it as anyone's... I almost see it as an expression of endearment. I wish someone had called me sexy. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, but you're not female.
But I'm male. Hugh Jackman's male.
But if you speak to many women, they'll say they've spent a lot of their lives trying to fight this sort of judgment on how you look and being sex. A lot of women.
Oh, no. Look, what would you rather have? No comment at all about the person?
No, it's not about the person, it's about the way she looked.
If I find, and I do this quite often, and I apologise for now when I do. When I see a lady I think's attractive, I say, you're an attractive lady, but I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't be saying that. And they'd say, no, that's all right. I mean, if I find... I take people what they are at face value. I am so sick of the way we in Australia are just sinking lower and lower into this mire of what I think is just... It's boringness, it's political correctness. We're dumbing down, we're removing from people character. We want our politicians, right? Forget which side of politics they are, to be as bland and as grey and live a lifestyle that none of us would want to live. We say, you're a public figure, you've got to be on a pedestal, you can't make mistakes, you can't be honest, you can't be open. For goodness sake, don't have fun. I'd be a hopeless politician today. I'd be run out of town by lunchtime.
You would too, and some would say a good thing. What Kevin Rudd said yesterday, and he'd said it for political reasons, but was true. He said if Tony Abbott had said this in a workplace, it could cause problems. If I was to say to a member of my staff, oh, you've got great boobs or something, and you're not bad on the phones either, or you're not a bad producer, I could be in significant trouble. And that is the way. You see, I don't think you've caught up with it. The workplace has changed.
I think boobs is different.
All right. Well, you're very sexy and you're a good producer.
Yeah, I think to say you're sexy is fine.
You couldn't. You see, you're in another era. You are in another...
I'm in today's era. I'm fighting back, right? I am sick to death of the way Australia is shrinking to be just absolutely meaningless. The ocharism of Australians is disappearing.
But that's a woman. If a woman objects to that, she's asking to be treated as a person, not as a sex object.
Yes. But
okay. So how do you know how she feels when you say to her...
Tony was treating her not only as a woman, he was treating her as a very well-educated woman, a woman that was worthy of standing for a political party, and in his thing he made the comment that she was sexy. I'm sure he meant as a term of
Oh,
endearment.
I'm sure you do. There's no question about that. But
So why is it right now?
because not every woman is sexy,
All right.
and not every woman has sex
I'll
appeal,
tell
and a
you
lot
what.
of women feel lesser because of it.
I understand that. I'm not going to go out and call a person who is built differently. I'm not going to call her sexy if she doesn't appear to be sexy.
Well, let's see that.
I mean, but
But what's it got to do with anything? She might be the best political candidate in history and weigh 40
because
tonnes.
I think it was a term of endearment. I mean, here's an attractive, well-educated, well-qualified person, and he made that remark. Now, all right, I might be out of this planet. I understand that. But I tell you what, I'd rather be in the planet that I live in than actually having every juice in my body destroyed by political correctness. And I lay you a bet most listeners would too.
Eliza, hello.
Hello, Neil. How you going?
Okay.
Look, I'm shocked at Jeff Kennett, being a proponent of Beyond Blue too. I work in a school. If my principal stood up and said, "Now, I'd like to welcome, this person, and we've employed her because she's pretty sexy, and we haven't employed this other person because actually they were a little bit plain."
He
but
never said that.
Let's not listen. But what you're talking
Eliza,
about,
he never said that. Get your facts right. He never said that.
I realise that, but I'm just drawing a parallel here.
No, it's not a parallel. You've set up a different model to knock down.
Let's say my principal went, was interviewed by a local newspaper, and they were talking about a brand new, fantastic recruit they had, a teaching recruit, and he said, yeah, and she's got great sex appeal. That would feel absolutely inappropriate.
She's
wouldn't
well
it?
qualified.
All right.
She's got great
The
sex appeal.
beaut thing about it is in
Unacceptable.
life, that is your opinion, and you may be right, and there may be many who support that view. I'm just saying...
But why is she wrong? Why is Eliza wrong?
Well, that's an opinion that I don't think, in the context of what was said yesterday, Eliza's comments...
That is exactly the same context.
No, it's not, and I don't agree with
Why
that.
is it different?
Right.
Because Tony, it was... I heard it, I saw it as a term of endearment.
Oh,
Look,
sure.
could I just say that I don't think, look, in the big context of things, Tony Abbott says a lot of silly things. It's not the worst by any means.
Oh, for goodness
But,
sake! All right.
no,
well, then
no,
you've probably shown your political allegiance.
Well,
no,
believe it or not, he's
no.
entitled to an opinion.
He's
Don't go bullying the callers.
No, I'm not.
I'm just saying he makes a few gaffes, and that's
Do you
fine.
ever make a gaff, Eliza?
I'll
Do you
settle
ever
down.
Of course I
No, hang on,
do.
Eliza.
Stop bullying her.
No, hang on,
Let her
Eliza.
speak.
Do you ever make a gaff, or are you perfect?
All the time. I'm not
Righto.
perfect at all.
So, is it not the time? Is it not the time that we shouldn't be throwing stones at glass houses? Because that's
Listen,
where I think we're at
of course.
Australia at the moment. Everyone
Of course.
sits back in the privacy of their home or on the telephone, and they get up and say, Tony Abbott's this, Kevin Rudd is that. I tell you
They
what.
are in the public arena.
Yes, I understand that. But why don't we apply the standards we live by to those we elect? And we don't. We expect
Very
them
good,
to
we
live.
do, yes.
We
No, I don't
expect them
expect
to live a
be perfect.
different
I
life.
do expect them to be respectful of other people.
I think that's...
And the other thing is, it's not so much Tony Abbott's comment. I couldn't care less about that anymore. It's everybody else. It's Mark Latham's comment yesterday. It's your comment. They're worse, I think, actually. I actually, think Tony Abbott's coming out quite well out of this.
Well, Mark Latham was just stupid yesterday.
I didn't hear him yesterday.
Oh,
so
he
I'm
said
sorry.
that what worried him was Tony Abbott was wrong because she wasn't much of a good sort anyway.
Who of the lady? Well, yeah. Well,
I
see,
don't
that's
know.
derogatory,
Yeah,
isn't
of
it?
course it
That's
is. But
abusive.
you see, Eliza is making the point that you talk about applying the same standards to political leaders as the real world. That's the point I'm making. In the real world, as an employer in a workplace, you couldn't do what he did without facing trouble.
Well, I'm
You
not
might say
sure,
it's wrong, but that's reality.
No, but I'm not sure about that in the way he said it yesterday, because it would have to go to adjudication. I understand what you're saying, but he didn't mean it in any way to be offensive.
Sure.
And yet, to date, in this campaign, we've had the debate at the beginning of the week. We've had this, which is attracting most attention. And
the suppository of all wisdom.
who's that?
Tony Abbott said that it was a suppository. You know what a suppository is? It's not a repository.
No. And
Did you miss that one?
No, I did miss that one, and no doubt you'll correct him.
Oh no, the
as
people
you
been
correct
he's
my-
been laughing at
Yeah,
it too.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
and I agree. It's minutiae. It doesn't matter.
I know. But anyway, I take your point, Eliza. Thank you. Have a good day.
A break. It's too late now. You've been monstering her for 5 minutes.
No, I haven't. I'm
we'll
just
take
saying.
a break. More calls if you're brave enough. Jeff Kennett is with me talking about Tony Abbott's daggy dad moment. Hello, Mary.
Hi, Neil, Jeff. Love hearing you. Look, I agree with Jeff this morning. Excuse me.
Sounds unusual, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, love him.
Do you think I'm sexy?
Well, I do
Oh, for
actually.
heaven's sake.
Well, can I...
And I do like compliments too.
Thank
But
you.
just quickly,
Yep.
I agree with Jeff there. If you can't accept a compliment, well, you've got a thin skin. We've gone overboard with political correctness, something shocking, and we're bowing down to the minority at the moment that we're losing our Aussiness. Thank you.
Okay, I don't agree with it. I think there's a danger of that, and I don't think that what Tony Abbott said was all that awful at all, but I can see why some women would... in fact, I've had the debate with a number of women, why, and they've convinced me, why it could be destructive. Helen, hello, Helen.
Good morning, Neil and Jeff.
Morning.
I'd just like to put another scenario to the scene.
Yep.
Now, what if you're standing next to that beautiful young lady that's thirsty and everything else, and you're a plain Jane and you're better than her? How would you think that other girl feels?
Yeah, no, well, that's a good point. That's a good point.
How do you think she feels thinking, I've got more qualifications than her, I'm better than her, and I'm just a plain Jane and I don't get any told how beautiful I am or how good my job is? Now,
I understand
things
that,
happen.
but maybe the plain Jane in this example that you're giving is perhaps in one sense more respected because she is well qualified. I mean, often it's not just words; it's how we treat people. It's the opportunities we give each other. We reflect our views and our emotions in different ways. I guess all I'm saying is, Helen, I don't like there being just a lowest common denominator. I still like, and I still do, open a car door for a woman. I still let a woman through a door first. I actually like and appreciate what used to be in place more obviously than it is today, where there is a respect shown between the genders, and I think that is good. If I thought Tony's remarks were disrespectful, I think you know me well enough to say that I would say that. I did not feel that was disrespectful.
But they weren't disrespectful to that woman, and she wasn't worried about it, to Fiona Scott, I think. But it could be disrespectful to other women, because there are women who haven't got sex appeal, and that's not any of their own fault or doing.
Then
and
they
would feel demeaned by it.
But then there would have been silence. I'm just saying...
No, but what he said is potentially hurt these people
but he was
on the other side of the country who say, "Oh, gee, I don't look like that," and it's
this is
cruel.
Neil, this is what I'm saying. He was making the comment. Here we are, 25 minutes on this subject. He was talking about this young lady who was with him at the time. He wasn't talking about all women. He was talking about a woman. I thought it was a respectful comment, and I can understand you and others taking it the other way. My point is...
No, it was respectful to her. I'm not arguing about that.
But I therefore don't think it was respectful to anyone else because he said it of her. We've moved
on in issues of racism. Once upon a time, we thought it was acceptable in the middle of a footy field in the heat of battle to call somebody a silly black bastard, right?
Well,
now it's been explained by a whole lot of Aborigines and other black players why that hurts.
All right.
Why that hurts.
All right.
All I'm saying is that a lot of women would say, this hurts.
Right. Well, in that case... let's take another word out of the English language so that women don't say of Hugh Jackman that he's sexy, because that might offend me because I'm not sexy.
But
or
you're
you,
not the oppressed
No.
in the way that women have been for centuries.
No. I respect women.
In the way that black
Tony
people have been
respects
oppressed.
women.
I know he does. That's not the point.
And please, on Indigenous people and on multiculturalism, you know how strongly I've fought for a multicultural Australia and defended all of that. And I support the Indigenous argument that's been raised in recent times. I don't think this, and the way it was offered, and the way it was received, was ever intended to be disrespectful. Far from it. And all I'm saying is, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that some are offended, and that's their choice. I shouldn't be surprised that the ALP have jumped on it because they think this is more important than policy, and I shouldn't be surprised that the media, and I guess including us, this is the issue of this week's campaign.
Because the rest of it's dull.
Because the rest of it's dull.